What's your name and badge number?
Show me your ID, please.
What's your name and badge number, sir?
Right here.
Well, you're covering as you're showing it me.
Right here.
How do you pronounce it?
Popolaski. You have
Popolaski.
your ID, sir?
And what's your badge number?
4839. You have your ID, sir?
4839. I'm not giving you ID, sir. I'm not committing any crime, sir.
He says he's asking for information.
You want me to explain to you what I'm doing here?
No, I don't want you. If you don't want to tell me who you are, I don't want you to
Great.
be here.
Okay, so we have nothing to talk about. Great.
See you out here?
How am
You
I?
have to leave.
Pulaski?
You have to leave.
Sir, I'm gonna ask you one time and one time only. Is this a public lobby?
1136.
Yeah, call supervisor. Call supervisor. That's better.
You have to leave.
Can we call supervisor, sir?
No.
We can't call
Come
supervisor.
outside, we'll talk. You show me your ID, we'll figure out what's going
I'm
on.
not showing you any ID, and I want a supervisor.
Okay. Step outside.
For what? You can't trespass
You're
me from
not
a public
allowed
place.
here. These
This is
people
a
run
public-
this building.
This is a public place. I have business here.
They're
sir.
running the building.
I have business in a public place. Listen, before you make a mistake, just call the supervisor, right?
No.
Call
Come
supervisor.
outside and talk to me.
I'm not going outside. I want to wait for a supervisor in a public lobby. I'm not in
You
a
don't have to
restricted
call for a
area.
supervisor.
I'm not. You can call for a supervisor. You got the radio in your hand right there.
Call-
I'm asking you to call for a
Show
supervisor.
me your ID, and we'll
Sir,
talk about what's
I'm
going
asking you. I'm asking you politely to call for a supervisor, please, sir.
I'm
That's-
asking for your ID.
And I'm refusing to do that.
Okay, then I'm not going to.
You're not going to call a supervisor then?
I'm going to ask you to step outside so I can
Okay.
figure out from these people what's going on.
I could show you video if you want.
Well, I'm
what
going to
I'm
ask
doing.
them because
Video don't lie though.
one of these people are going to provide me with ID.
Video don't lie.
Okay, then I'll look at your video and just show me your ID.
Okay. Well, my whole point is that I'm not going outside, and
Show
I'm
me
not
your
showing
ID.
you my ID. No. I want a supervisor. How many times do I have to ask for one? I want a supervisor.
Scares my staff when you talk to me videotapes.
Yeah, listen,
Did you hear the procedure?
I understand. Listen, I understand his.
Did you hear the
I understand
procedure?
his policy. Policy does not trump law, sir. And I'm letting you know that I'm here legally. I'm not committing any crimes. I have no ill intent, and I'm working on a story. It's a First Amendment protected activity. So that's why I'm asking you to please call your supervisor,
If
so
you're
that
working
way.
on a story and you want
And I want you to
information-
de-escalate.
You're talking over me.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're working on a story and you want help from this office, you need to follow what they request of you.
I don't understand. I'm working on a story in a public place. I ask them questions, and I'll have more questions for them once I'm done going over all their brochures that they have laid out everywhere. I'm working on a story in a public lobby, sir. This is a public lobby. I'm not in a restricted area. I'm not breaking any laws. So if you would like, you can call a supervisor like I've asked you 20 times now, or
Show me your ID.
I'm
so
not
I know who
showing
you
you.
are.
I'm not showing you my ID. That's not going to happen here today,
Why
sir.
not?
Because I don't want to. Why? This is not Germany, sir. You can't just. Hey, where's your papers? Like, I'm not committing a
I need to know
crime.
who I'm speaking to.
Listen, you're speaking
If you have legitimate business here,
No.
I need to know who you are.
But
so
who
we
are you
can-
to determine if I have a legitimate or non-legitimate business here? Blake can't determine that. I'm telling you I
Because
have
they're having
legitimate.
trouble dealing with you.
That's not my
You're not-
problem. I'm not, sir. I have not caused a scene. I have it all recorded. I'm not interfering with business that they have with their clients. They came out and confronted me. I'm sitting here peacefully, recording, working on my story. I have no other ill intent. They got scared because they saw camera. I'm sorry, camera scared them. But what criminal have you ever known?
What is your intent?
My intent is to work on my story without being told I can't.
With what resources from this office?
With the resources that's available to me in a public
And what are
place.
you asking of them?
I've asked them a whole bunch of questions.
Start with one. What are you asking of them?
What exactly is it that they do here?
Okay.
Can you explain that to me?
Okay.
Okay.
What
So
is
I'm-
the
I need
question
to-
that you haven't gotten an answer
So
to?
basically, I want to look at all the information that they provided me with that I've gathered publicly. I'm going to sit in the public lobby. I'm going to continue to film, and when I have more questions, I will let them know. That's it. It's simple. I'm not here to cause a disturbance. This is them calling you is causing the
Are
disturbance.
you here?
To be clear, I mean, and I've said this to you already.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's business ongoing in here.
I understand
We have
that.
folks that we're serving. Their personal information is here. There are people that are doing.
But
the
this is why I want a
regular-
supervisor
Wait,
here.
Sir, so listen.
Okay.
You're filming in an environment.
You
where
can have an
personal
office
information is being
supervisor here
discussed.
if you have a problem with how this
You
office
asked
is
questions.
run.
I gave you answers to every question that you offered, and you
I might have more.
continuing to film.
Yes. Why can't I
And there are
film?
people here.
But why can't I film,
Listen,
Blake?
I'm telling you why. There are people here that are talking about their personal employment situations. You should not. be
Is that
here
confidential?
filming. Yes.
So if you want to listen, you have to create an expectation of privacy. So like, you see how you have the door on your office over there?
Sure. If
You can
your-
take a client in there and close the door, and I'm not going to do
Is
it.
about whether or not there's an expectation of privacy. I've established for you.
There's not.
an expectation that you should.
There's not.
be
And if his supervisor was here, his supervisor would tell you that there's no expectation of privacy here. There is
We have
none.
separate areas for counseling in this space.
Okay, there's no expectation of
very clearly
privacy.
Offered you an answer to every question.
Okay, I might have more.
And I'm happy to answer that.
Great. So you can stand right there. You hold the whole day if you want.
Members of the public.
Normally, what anyone would do here is that you fill out an application. You cannot talk about besides the most basic.
But that's because people are coming here for another purpose than
You
I'm.
want to tour this building for a story that you're writing?
I'm in the public.
Is that what you
If they
said?
want to allow me access back
Did you
there, that's
answer the
fine.
question?
Yes, I just told you.
You didn't just. You just talked over me.
Okay,
You
tell
didn't
me.
answer the
Ask me the question.
So you're asking for a visit to tour for a story you're doing.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Okay, what'd you write here?
The reason for my visit.
What is
I'm not
it?
asking anybody.
What is it? Purpose for your visit?
Touring, working on my story.
I don't think they do that.
Well, I'm working on a story. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
I
I,
don't
really
think
don't
you-
even want to talk to you anymore because you don't want to get the supervisor out here. So I'm gonna invoke Fifth Amendment, and I don't want to deal with you. Thanks.
Stay away from the people that are doing.
Again, sir, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not breaking the law,
I've
sir.
established an expectation of privacy.
Okay. I mean, it's not the law. I follow the law, sir. I don't follow your idea of what the law, your interpretation of the law. I follow the law and how the law is written. And that is your job. You swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States, right? Your job is to uphold the law as written. Not what you think, not when a buddy calls you or when fellow...
So tell me who you are, so we can get your
I'm
business.
telling you, I'm a law-abiding citizen who's not doing anything wrong. That's who I am.
Okay, you
That's
don't have
it.
a name.
I'm
You're
not
hiding
giving
your
it.
identity from us.
I'm not hiding anything. I'm just not telling you. That's
You're
different than
choosing
hiding
not
it.
to
Exactly.
because you're writing a
because
story.
because I have a right to do that.
What
Sergeant
type of
said.
story is it? An
All right, I'm gonna
expose?
talk to the sergeant now. I'm gonna talk to the sergeant now. How you doing, sir? Hey, Sarge, can I talk to you for a sec?
Yeah,
What's your name?
I'm Officer McNulty, Sergeant McNulty. How are
Sergeant
you?
McNulty.
What's your name, sir?
I'm good. I'm not gonna give my name, sir.
Okay.
I just want.
You realize I
I'll
know
listen
you're
to
at
you.
other precincts, other places.
Yeah.
If you're making a documentary, whatever it is, you have access to public information. All right, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you have to go out and do films, we just ask you to be as professional as you can.
Of course, sir, and I always
All right?
am.
All right.
Okay.
So that's all.
Can you notify him that I have a legal right to be here, work on my story, so he can, because he's the one escalating the situation. So I want you to de-escalate it if you can.
Okay. This gentleman's currently making a documentary. His access to public information has been over at different precincts. In this area, he's able to, if you don't want to interview him, you don't have to interview him, but at this point, he can just stay in this public area right here. But eventually, you're going to have to leave.
Of course,
move on,
eventually, right, yeah.
But I mean, you could put in your story that you attempted to interview, they didn't want to have an interview, all right? But
Yeah,
at this
I
point-
appreciate you explaining it to him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
So,
Sergeant McNulty, the problem was that folks are coming in here. They're coming in here to.
and you don't want to upset other people.
No, that is not
Right?
my intent.
That's your
I told
concern.
the ladies were scared when they saw the camera. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I told them, listen, I have no ill intent here. I'm working on a story.
Right.
I never heard of a criminal that records a crime. You know what I mean? His own crime.
Okay,
It doesn't
I
make
understand
sense.
that some people can get a little upset if they're getting upset.
I understand.
Right? So they've been very patient.
No, I understand.
All right?
Completely.
So if they don't want to, you could just.
No, that's
do a
fine. I'm not trying to
documentary
interview anybody. I'm just doing
if they-
documentary, yeah.
If they don't want to, pursue any further interview.
Great.
All right? So
That's-
do what you could.
okay.
All right.
The problem is, Sergeant, that there are folks
There is
that
no
are coming
problem.
in here seeking services from the department. They're on unemployment. They're trying to get off unemployment. They're doing job seeker
Okay,
services.
so why don't you
and
wrap
he's
it up
insisting
here?
on filming
Okay.
people that are
Right.
here in the lobby.
These
Yeah, well-
people are
This is
embarrassed
rated
and
several
impeding their
times.
business. So,
Yeah,
all right?
I'm not impeding anybody's. Nope, that's
No,
not
it's
true.
people are coming in here and they're concerned. So that's the
Nobody
issue.
was concerned.
Well, it's people are. They
But
could
there's-
be concerned.
but that's
So just like I
fictional.
said, try to be as professional as
I
you can.
will be.
They don't want to
I will
interview
be.
you, and if they're concerned,
I will leave here
just
on my own
ask
time.
you to
Yes.
leave,
Okay. I will leave here on my own time.
All right.
Thank you.
The lobby's closing in 5 minutes.
So the lobby's closing for what reason? Do you have authorization to close the public lobby?
Yes, I do.
So for what purpose are you closing the lobby for, sir? A public lobby?
Yeah, for-
Because I would like.
I have
And
a lot of
what's your
staff
last name?
working pods.
First and last
My
name?
name is Mark.
Mark
I have
what?
I have a lot of pods. I have people with pods. I have also people contact.
What's your last name? What's your last name, Mark? I want to file a complaint against Mark. Can you give me your last name?
He's in charge. He's closing the lobby.
Yeah. So I want his last name though.
All right.
So can you give me your last name so I can file a complaint? You're a public employee, sir?
When you fill out an application,
Are you a public employee? I'm not a public employee. Do you guys just not get it through your brains? Like you work for the public. You have.
Fill out an application.
I want to get a
So you
complaint
can-
form. Now my focus has changed. Now, officer, I would like for them to hand me a complaint
I don't know
form.
how they do it.
Well, I
You
want
have to use your resources to.
I want to speak to a supervisor. Hey, Mark, can I speak to a supervisor? Can I speak to a supervisor, Mark?
Go to Blake and myself.
No, I would like to speak to one above you and Blake. Is this the type of service you provide to the public, sir? I'm asking you to speak to your supervisor. Is that okay with you, Mark? Is that okay with you, Mark?
You've spoken to 3
Mark,
supervisors right there.
listen, people see documentaries all the time. They watch all these videos, and you're going to be the guy that's going to do this? For what purpose? Just do your job. What's your last name, and let me speak to your supervisor.